Hello, very good evening to you. I am Lisa Lord, and this is part 2 of our interview with Barbados Cultural Ambassador and the Soca Queen of the World, Dr. Alison Hinds-Walcott. Dr. Hinds-Walcott, in part 1, we detailed the beginning of your career, the initial part of your career. And we ended part 1 talking about the success that you had with Faluma. But we didn't actually say what Faluma actually means.
Right. We had actually tried to research it and to find out what it meant. And there's not really a literal translation of it. But then Miss Stephanie Chase, who is drama teacher at the Great and Sealy School, she presented to me, she was able to get in contact with somebody that gave her like a breakdown of what the song means. And then she had done a presentation telling the story and using the song at the end of it. And it's a bit of a sad story, but then it becomes very uplifting. And it is the story of a man who gets married to, and this is like in a village. He gets married and his first wife is unable to give him children. And so he goes to the chief and says, well, she can't give me children. Like, again, another one? Like, basically, yeah, she's a little defective. Like, I can't do this. So the chief gave him permission to say, yeah, get another wife. So divorced her, got another one, and he was able to have a child with the second wife. The first wife now, of course, is extremely upset.
Of course.
And, really mad. And she sees this and she's like, but, I was discarded and thrown away, like, because I couldn't give him children. And so he has a child with the first wife. And they were out of the house. And so the first wife, the ex, she decides, well, I'm make y'all pay. And y'all are out of the house and the child is there. And she goes in and she actually unalives that child. And then she runs away. She runs into the forest kind of thing. Of course, the second wife comes back and finds she no longer has a child, and it's heartbreaking, and but the ex was seen running away from the village by people within the village. So they were like, no, it has to be her. So we're going to go and find her. And the couple, in the meantime, they're mourning the loss of their child. And so, the whole village is mourning and going through what they're going through. And somewhere within that time, they find out that she's actually pregnant again. And within that time, when they do find the woman, the ex, she has been mauled by animals in the forest. So she's been taken care of. And what happens then is that even though in the midst of mourning, they still have something to celebrate because there is a new life on the way. And so the song is basically that celebration of, even though, this really sad thing has happened, this is celebration. This is now become a good thing that we can celebrate and say, well, yes, new life, let's enjoy this, But that's the story right there.
I want to put aside Alison Hinds, the performer, for a minute, because as you said, new life, there's another side to Alison Hinds. In 2004, you made a decision, I'm sure it was difficult, to walk away from square one. You married your sweetheart, Edward Walcott, and you welcomed your daughter, your only child, Saharan, that same year. How difficult was it to say, let me focus on family and put entertainment down for now?
It was easy in some ways, hard in some ways. It was easy because I had been touring consistently since 97. Yeah, from 97, 98 is when we started really majorly touring. After the success of Ragamuffin from Ragamuffin, right through, like all those years, we were constantly touring, and I was at that point in my life where I wanted to have a family, and I wanted to take a break from being on the road. So it was hard in that, of course, I had to let let Square One know that, listen, I have to. I mean, obviously they understood I was pregnant, but it was still. I still tried to give them. We talked about it. I gave them notice. I said, okay, I will work till December of 2003, till the end of the year, and then I would take my leave from there. And I was ready. I was in that mode of nesting and wanting to, both Edward and I were ready to have a family and to find out what that entails. And it wasn't easy being a new wife and a new mother and not being able to like just get up and go when you feel like it, because now you have this little person that you have to factor into every aspect of your life. But in saying that, I marveled. It was amazing to me that like we got together and made an entire life, like a human being. That never ceases to amaze me.
And having a baby truly does change everything.
Absolutely. It's your perspective on the world and on life definitely changes, because now you have to consider this life and you have to consider what you want for their future and how you want to go about it, and are we on the same page, and all these different things. And there's also fear involved in that, because it's like I am responsible for a whole life, like a human being, like myself and Edward. This is a huge responsibility that you don't know if you're capable of being. You hope that you are, but nobody's ever sure, that they have the ability to be able to raise a balanced human being that is going to be that's going to be a positive addition to society, wherever that person is going to be. So there's all kind of different things that was going through my mind at that time, but I knew that I was ready for it.
And you have faced a lot of unfair criticism and scrutiny over the years. We just spoke about you marrying your sweetheart. That was also a topic of discussion.
Yes,
the fact that you decided to enter into an interracial marriage.
And the weird thing about that is that I am the foreigner, not him, because he is Bajan, born and bred, loves Barbados. He will never give it up for the world. He loved this rock, And I'm the one that I'm British born and transferred. I have Bajan parents, but I am the one that, and it's like, just to look at the outside of somebody, just to see a white man, and just have that judgment. And I knew about it. I knew that there were people that were, oh, she went and married a rich white man and this and this and this. And it's like, so everything that I had achieved up until that point. Road March and Party Monarch, making history, doing all of this, CB, all of these things that I have achieved, just all of a sudden became null and void because the man that I happened to marry and fall in love with was white. Okay, y'all could keep that energy going, and I will continue to live my life because I never let that faze me. Never let that faze me.
But were you surprised that in 2004 that was actually a topic?
I was disappointed. I was disappointed. I wasn't surprised though. That's the whole thing. I was not surprised because there is and I talk about it in general. In Barbados, for Black Bajans, white people in general, whether it's white Bajans or expats or whatever, are just automatically seen as having money. And so it's that perception that, well, if you're white, you got money. It's not the truth, but that is the perception. And so it didn't matter, or it doesn't matter, that he's Bajan born and raised. Him and all of his family are born right here. As we say, a navel string is buried right here in this country. He is just as much a Bajan citizen as anybody else. And the fact that that was the takeaway, as I said, unfortunately, it didn't surprise me. I was disappointed, but I gotta live my life for me. I can't live my life for other people because as much as my job is very public, it's very high profile, it's very, as soon as I step out through the door, people are seeing, people are looking, but my life is my life. So I learned a while ago that I gotta live my life to suit me and what's gonna make me happy, especially when it comes to my personal life.
And speaking about your personal life, your body also came under a lot of public scrutiny and criticism. How did you deal with that?
It was rough. I will not lie. It was rough because I had had a baby and I had gained a lot of weight during the pregnancy. And I had also had some depression that I dealt with after having her because I had never been that size for me. And so I wasn't comfortable with me. And I wanted to be able to, I want to drop this weight. But I still want, I want to be able to perform, do what I love. I took a year off and I would look in the mirror at myself and just feel so depressed. And at the time, Edward, to his credit, would always come and have something really positive to say, always complimenting me. Or he was like, don't worry, you're still sexy, I still love you. And, and there were times when I couldn't hear it because just of how I felt, but he kept bringing it and he kept making sure that I understood that I was wanted, I was loved, I was attractive, all of those things. And it was hard. It was hard to hear, that chatter got back to me, about, because when I got married and had my daughter, I had already been retired. There was people out there that had retired me. It was like, oh, well, she got married, she had a child, so she done with now. She ain't gonna be singing no more. She gone through. That was, people retired me. And so then to have that chatter coming back to me was, it was hurtful. It was painful. It was difficult to go through. And I'm in the public eye, so it was that much more.
Yeah.
And so for a woman who is doing a regular 9 to 5 and still having to deal with that within her circle of people, friends, family. These are the people that will say some of the most hurtful things to you and try to couch it in a joke. Like we as Bajans, we will approach one another. You see somebody for long, hey, well, you put on some weight though. That's not nice. That is not that should not be the first thing to come out of your face to somebody that you haven't seen. You don't know what that person is dealing with. You don't know if that person is dealing with self-esteem issues and whatever, or just going through something in their life.
And you did not have the luxury of dealing with it in a circle. You were dealing with it public.
Correct. So it was hard. It was challenging.
And even before welcoming Saharan, people questioned your body a lot for years. And you know where I'm going with this.
My bossy.
I wanted you to say it.
And the thing is, it's still going on now. But when it first came up, I tried my best to try to understand. I can't understand. I'm like, I don't understand. Like I don't understand. Like I just don't understand. I could not understand why people were like, why is this such why are people fascinated with my backside? Why? And it wasn't just men, it was women too. And it's like, what's this fascination? Why?
Probably a little jealous.
That's the only thing. I'm like, well, where is? And it was stories. Listen, these stories have come back to me.
I grew up with them.
Just in case, the people that have spread this stuff, don't think that it didn't get back to me. It was all I stuffed my pants with something. I wear some kind of strap on. Some kind of strap on something. Somebody else said, oh, she's getting injections but well, hey, women doing that now left, right, and center, right? I never did it. It was all kind of thing, everything under the sun I did to get my butt looking the way that it does. And it's like, okay, all right. If this is where this is gonna be, I can't stop people from talking. I can't, and there's nothing that I can do to prove or disprove it. You understand? I am not going to expose myself for people to see, so that's not going to happen. For me to deny it, there's still going to be people that, she lie, man, she lie. It fake, it ain't real. My friends have at some point in our friendship, they have had people come to them because they might see that, because people see that this particular person might be closer to me or whatever, and they will come and ask the question. So it real? And my friends are like, listen, get away from me. I'm not going to indulge you in that, because what's the point? What are you going to get out of this? If you find out that it's fake, how is it going to make a difference to you? If it's real, how is it going to make a difference to you? How does this benefit your life? It doesn't benefit your life in any form or fashion. So I just had to get to a place where I was like, all right, if there's people that can think this, there's people that's going to think that, continue to think whatever you want to think. I am me. I live with this body, and I know, and people that close them, and in the grand scheme of things, it's not important.
And you were dealing with this at a time when there was no social media.
Correct.
So imagine now younger female artists and what they are going through.
Correct.
In terms of body image.
Absolutely, and it is, and I know it is tough because having a teenage daughter, although I don't see her, or she hasn't come to me and said, that she is influenced by, influencers and people, personalities, public personalities, whatever, by them and image and these kinds of things, because I have tried my best to empower her in, she looks like me when I was her age. So she's par for the course at this point. And she's a dancer. So she has lovely long legs, and her posture, and although she could slouch when she get ready, and her posture, and how she, I think that she's in a good place when it comes to her body image. And even if she has any issues, she knows that she could come to me and we can have that conversation about it. But yeah, it's for the young women that are out there now seeing this unrealistic view of what a woman is supposed to look like. It is disturbing. It is very disturbing, and it's very worrying, because we have 12-year-olds and 11-year-olds and 13-year-olds whose bodies have not even, they're just starting to develop. And they're thinking about, oh, well, I need to do something with my boobs, and I need to do something with my butt, and I need to do filler and all of these things. And it's like, you're 13. Your body has not, it's not developed yet. Even when you get to 16, 17, 18, your body is still going through what it's going through. You're still too young to be thinking about, oh, I need work. What work do you need? The work that needs to happen is mentally, to make sure, and we as women and as men have to make sure that we teach our young people about not only their self-esteem, their self-worth, and body positivity, because they're already going through what they're going through with hormone changes and trying to figure out friendships and relationships and all the other stuff. It's a lot.
It is.
It's a lot to deal with without having the internet just constantly bombarding you with these images that the images that you see, those people don't even look like that. They don't even look like that. If you saw them in person, you would not recognize them, because it's all the filters and the different things, and you can do so many things to change every part of you. It's we have work to do when it comes to that.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to you. I'm not hearing Alison Hinds just as a woman, but as a mother. And I want to stick a pin there. Alison Hinds, the mother. Alison Hinds, the entertainer. At some point, Alison Hinds had to go back out on the road.
Correct.
How hard was that, having to leave her? Because you're not going down the road to perform. You are traveling, and you have a young baby at home.
Yeah, I sat on many a plane and cried. And it wasn't because I didn't want to go out and do what I was doing. It was just that I knew that, we had our attachment. And I knew that, I was going to miss her. And I did.
Mommy guilt.
Her. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I missed her terribly. And I eventually had to adjust. But Edward, to his credit, he stepped up, and because essentially he would become a single parent when I wasn't there, but he stepped up to the plate. And then her grandparents, my mom and his parents, my in-laws, at that time my father-in-law was alive, he has since passed, and they really stepped up to the plate. So we never had to pay for any kind of child care or get babysitters, because her grandparents were in her life.
You had a village.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And they were happy to have her. Absolutely happy to have her. And it was important to myself and Edward that she had that stability, that family stability, that she knew who her people were and where she belonged. That was important to me.
So we are dealing with a different artist now. Before it was just Alison Hinds. Now it is Alison Hinds, the wife, Alison Hinds, the mother. All of this is new. You're a new wife, new mother. You are also, for the first time, a solo artist. You do not have the support of your bandmates. You're back on the road.
Yep.
So we are fast forwarding now to 2007. And the world has the pleasure of listening to that massive hit. We've spoken about some massive hits, but we're
Yes.
talking about Roll It.
Yes. Yeah.
Huge. Your biggest song actually to date.
Absolutely.
How did Roll It come about?
Roll It was written by Chantel Lane, who herself went on to, have an amazing career as a singer-songwriter. But she wrote Roll It Gal, and she wrote it specifically with me in mind. And she's always been a fan. And so she had that part of it as a fan, but also as a woman. And she knew that I have, I've always been about female empowerment. And so she wrote that and did the demo and sent it to me. And when she sent me the demo, I was instantly smitten with the song. I was like, yeah, can we record this now? Like, it was so perfect. And I have Chantel, she knows, I've told her before, but I am ever so thankful for her writing that song for me, because I could not have wanted a more perfect song to re-enter the entertainment space and the performance space after that break.
And after many people, as you said, retired.
Oh yeah, they retired me one time, and then Roll It Gal came out, and then it was like, oh, okay, and it was undeniable. It was absolutely undeniable. When that song came out, it spoke to so many women of different ages, different races, different backgrounds, different social strata. Like, just so many women came to me personally, sent me messages about that song, whether it was that they were in university, whether it was that, they were having a bad day. There were people who were ill who would reach out to me and be like, Alison, that song would just lift my spirits and make me feel better. And that's an important part of what we do as creatives, as artists, as performers. We don't know how our music is going to affect people. And there's so much positive attached to it. And so when it comes to that aspect of it, that's always an amazing thing. And Roll It Gal touched so many different parts of the world, so many different women from so many different backgrounds, that it's a song that still kind of has me in awe. No.
Well, still a lot more to chat about still. Stay with us. You're watching One on One.
Keep it clean, keep it green.
Barbadians, we invite you to get involved and play your part as we clean and green Barbados. Come into your community with media launches, bulk waste collection exercises, community engagement sessions, and giveaways. Get on board. Let's keep Barbados clean and green.
Beautiful, beautiful Barbados.
Welcome back as we continue our discussion with Soca Queen, Dr. Alison Hinds-Walcott. Dr. Hinds-Walcott, in your 30-plus year career, you've had some major collaborations. You've collaborated with artists like Shaggy, Richie Spice, Masha Montano, Foxy Brown. Is there still a dream collaboration an artist you want to record a song with?
For sure. And he knows this, and I've said this numerous times. We just got to find the right song. But Taurus Riley, for sure. Singy, gotta do something with him. There's a couple of others from the Marleys. I actually, Kimani and I actually had a conversation, and he was like, well, whenever you're ready, come down to Jamaica, and, let's work on some stuff. And I'm definitely open to that. Of course, Rihanna, like, come on.
I was waiting for that.
Like, I would have to be mad to not want to do a collab with Rihanna. I mean, I understand that, she's in family mode. She has her businesses and, her empire and everything. And she really she don't have to sing another note ever in life if she chooses not to. But if Rihanna, if you do, if you choose to want to step out there and the queen here, okay, all right.
I'm sure she's listening. Have you ever had an embarrassing moment on stage?
Oh, definitely. I've forgotten words on stage before. Just completely lyrics just went, and it would be a song that, like a new song that I'm kind of still learning kind of thing. I had a incident where I was on stage and I was wearing a top that was kind of low cut, and one of the girls was starting to come out, and I didn't realize it. And one of the background vocalists, she realized, and she left and she came to me, she just whispered in my ear. And I did it was a nip slip, and I just kind of slipped it back in and, continued performing. I've fallen off of 1 or 2 stages. That's happened. Didn't get hurt. I wasn't
God for that.
injured or anything, but it was definitely a shock. And that is embarrassing because, 1 minute you're there, just all of a sudden you're like, whoo, and it's like, oh my God, I just fell off an entire stage.
In front enough people.
In front of enough people. I don't remember ever, I don't think I've fallen on stage, but I have, I've dropped the mic, things like that. But yeah, forgetting words is, because you just can't, you're blank. You're absolutely blank. You're like, crap, I can't remember. Okay, let me work my way. Let me get back to a party song that I could remember. Yeah, all of that is going through your head at that point in time.
And like I said, you've had a career that has spanned more than 3 decades. Has it been hard to stay relevant, or have you had the urge to reinvent yourself?
Oh, absolutely. I've had to reinvent myself numerous times. And there were times when I was like in a rut, and I could feel that I was in a rut. And it was like, there's no forward movement happening here. And it's a constant, I guess, fear, you can say, but it's something that you constantly have to be looking at, because it's really about, having a team around you that can help to keep you connected to what's relevant. Like with my daughter being 19, the kind of things that 19 and 20, 21 years, 18 to 20, 21 are interested in, I can stay connected through her. She would tell me, oh, this is this and that, and, the slang.
Oh yeah, they have their own language.
Oh yeah. It's quite different.
Quite.
And anytime that I try to use it, she's like, no, Mom.
It's embarrassing for them.
Yeah. She's like, no, that's not for you. Mm-hmm. You're not to say that. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, all right. Okay, Missy. But yeah, you definitely, every artist at some point has to step back a little bit and reevaluate where you are in the market, you know, age wise, how long you've been in the business, where you are in your life, like all of these things you have to factor in and say, well, okay, this is where I want to go from this point. I no longer want to do this. I'm no longer, or I want to add this aspect and I want to do this and I want to change my image like this and I want to, all of those things. And again, you don't do it in a vacuum. You do this in collaboration with your team. And if you have a good team and a team that, and it doesn't have to be a big team, it just has to be very cohesive, and that especially like with your management and so on, that they understand what your vision is and that they can also give you input to say, okay, this is the trajectory that we see you going based on the caliber of artist you are, based on, you know, all these different things. And then, you know, you take it from there. So yeah, definitely.
And you are in a category by yourself, so you wouldn't compete with other younger artists. However, do you get the chance to mentor younger artists, especially women? Because it is always harder for women. And you said that earlier in the program.
Absolutely, absolutely. Mentoring is a very important part of the give back, and I talk to a lot of female artists, specifically up and coming, not just female artists, because there are young men that come to me as well to ask for my advice or my help and different things like that, and I willingly give that information. But yes, for females, because this is still very much a male-dominated genre, I encourage them as much as possible, and I leave my doors open, and I let them know, listen, even if I'm not here in the country, here is my number. Reach out to me, WhatsApp me, message me, do whatever it is that if you have a concern, if you have a query, if you just want to vent, whatever it is, feel free to reach out to me, and I will make that time to be able to, you know, to do that for you. So I make sure that, I try to make myself as available as possible, but it's important. It is important, especially, and specifically in Barbados, we need that extra push behind our female artists, because the reality and the fact is, when you talk about Barbados and soca and females, there is literally only me. And I want there to be more females to come into the space and claim and make their own way. And I will happily assist with that development, because it doesn't benefit me to say, well, I'm the only one, na. That doesn't make sense. Like, at some point, and I want to be able to make the conscious decision that if I want to step back or I want to step away and go in another direction, that I know that there's strong female artists who can they're not me. There's only one me. But that they can come and create their own niche and their own space, and have an effect, and have a positive effect as female artists. That's important.
In 2018, you received the designation Barbados Cultural Ambassador from the then Prime Minister, Mr. Frundell Stewart. In that year, the Mayor of Brooklyn also recognized you for your outstanding career and service to the Caribbean. What did these two moments mean for Alison Hinds?
Oh, they were huge, huge, huge moments, because of where they came from, how they came into being. Coming from being recognized by your country as a cultural ambassador to represent wherever I go in the world, alongside stellar, iconic artists, Stetson Wilshire, RPB, the mighty Gabby, Anthony, Carter, Dr. Anthony, and so is Stetson as well, Dr. Stetson, Wiltshire. And of course, our very own Rihanna. And then to be recognized away from these shores, to be recognized by the mayor of New York for my contribution and the effect that I have had on Caribbean culture and the diaspora as a whole. That means a lot. It means that the work that I have put in has not been in vain, and it's appreciated. And it's beyond, I get paid to perform, I create music and all of these things. But to be recognized on that kind of scale is very, very special. Very special. I don't take it for granted.
Fast forward now to 2023, and you receive an honorary degree, Doctor of Letters, from the UWI Cable campus. What was your initial reaction when you were told?
I was in shock. I was in absolute, I didn't know what to do myself. I was fussy, and I was happy, and I was like, me? And like it was, I was speechless for a little while. And then I was like, but I can't tell everybody, because you kind of, you have to keep it to yourself. I told people in my very immediate circle, but I had to keep it to myself until they were ready to make the official announcement and so on and so forth. And I remember when I told Stetson, and he was so happy. He was elated. He was like, you so deserve this. I am so happy for you, because he has been one of a champion for me for so many years. And there are people like him in my life that have been there from my early years through to the present. And so to receive this particular accolade, which is the highest accolade I have received to date, it's an amazing thing, because it makes me look back on what I have been through, and the highs and lows, the good times and the bad, and everything in between. And to understand that all of that led to this point. And I am still I'm very humbled by it, but also very happy that my contribution has been seen not only in a regional way, but on the worldwide stage. And I can only continue to do what I've been doing. And I'm also looking in many different directions of other things that I want to do to continue within the creative space, but in a different way. I ain't leaving the stage just yet, but this is that transitional time. This is the time, because I want it to be a conscious decision and not, you don't want to get pushed out. You want that, I want that I am making a conscious decision to say, okay, it is this day, or it's this month, or it's this year that I am going to I'm going to step back, or I'm going to, and I'm already putting the things in place to be able to diversify and to expand the brand that is Alison Hinds.
And I'm glad that we spoke about accomplishments and being recognized. Do you think that in Barbados we take a little too long to recognize our artists?
I believe so, and I've always felt so. I felt so for a long time. When someone has achieved a lot in their career, and it doesn't matter. I mean, you shouldn't have to wait until, like, you're walking with a walker, or no longer able, you're not as active, or recognize people when they're in their prime still, and still able to function and to appreciate it, because you can't get away from it. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel good, especially within the creative space, because creatives have always felt like they were at the bottom of the barrel to begin with. It was always, back in the day, it was, oh, well, you can't make money with that. You need to get a real job. That's just a hobby, so and so and so. And there's still people till today
That feel that
that
way.
feel that way, right? And what I do, and what people like myself do, is not going up on stage and walking out. That's not what it is. It's entertainment, and we're creating original content for people to enjoy. And then beyond that, it's the influence, it's the music, it's the culture, it's all of that. It's multi-layered. And some of us in our society need to understand that creatives have just as much right to do what they do full time and make a career. I have been able to make a career of it. And there's enough people within the genre who have shown that they can make a career and of being an entertainer, of being a musician, of being a creative. And I would encourage anyone that if this is what you really want to do, you gotta know that you gotta put your everything into it. And understand that I was not based in the US or Canada or the UK. Yes, I was born there, but I grew my career from right here in Barbados. So it means that it's not impossible. It doesn't mean that you have to go. You can go and work, you can go and get opportunities, but it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to give up where you're from in order to be a success within the music industry. Because now with technology, productions can be done. You could be in Timbuktu, a production can be done from different studios in different countries all over the world. And you're still going to be able, if that success is for you, you can get that. But you got to put in the work. It don't happen by accident. It doesn't happen by osmosis. It don't just drop in your lap. You got to put in the work. Your work ethic makes a difference. You have to put in those 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours is a lot of hours. But if you've done something for 10,000 hours and you're not a pro by the end of it, yeah, you need to find something else to do.
Despite your success, do you have any regrets?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I think everybody does. There's things in my life that I wish that I had either known sooner, or made a move earlier. And I'm very clear on those things. And but I have been able to put them to bed, and if not make peace with it, really just understand that that's where I was at that point, and not to put myself back in that situation where I'm hanging in too long, or just not being as observant as I should be. And so, yeah, I definitely have regrets, but I want to go forward and not have so many, and learn from those particular situations, learn the lessons that they presented, and be able to then go forward better.
Your advice for anyone wanting to enter the entertainment arena, but soca in particular?
It's work. It is work. It is not, you may love it, you might love singing, writing, arranging, all of those things. But it's work. Your work ethic says a lot. Have people around you who are not yes people. It's great to have your friends and stuff, but you need to have somebody that is discerning, that could tell you the truth, that could tell you the things that you really don't want to hear, but you need to hear in order for you to progress or develop and improve. Set a high bar, set a high standard for yourself. Don't be satisfied with, and I'm not saying that you have to be perfect, but set yourself a high standard to say, listen, I am not satisfied until I am satisfied that yes, this is as good, this is great, this is what I want. If you have any kind of spiritual grounding, whatever that is, you can lean on that and make use of that as well. Because some people have spirituality, some people have religion. They're two different things. So that all depends on what your faith is or isn't. Work within that as well, because that can also help. And continue to learn about all the different aspects of entertainment, of music business, because there is business involved in this. This is not just what people see on the stage at the end of everything is fun, is the lights, is the glitz and the glam. But to get to that point is the donkey work, is the being in the studio for long hours. It is the writing and rewriting and, trying to figure out that side of it, building beats and, your image and, all of these different things. There's so many different aspects to the making of an artist. And always learn, read up, watch YouTube videos, just educate yourself on the business of entertainment. And because if you're an artist and you have management, your management is working for you, not the other way around. But because you have management doesn't mean that you don't know what's going on. You have to be privy to what's happening. You have to know for yourself, so that when you question things and you might even be able to put your management in the direction that you need them to be. And everyone that's in your team, learn all of those things. And then at the end of all of it, enjoy it. Enjoy it. It is fun. It's great to be able to entertain people and make people smile and make people happy. That's an amazing thing.
I have thoroughly enjoyed this sit down with you. I appreciate you sneaking out 2 hours. It was supposed to be an hour, but 2 hours. We had part 1 last week, part 2 this week.
Yes.
And sitting and chatting with us, because you are in the middle of traveling as well. You were only home for 4 days, so I really appreciate it. Thank you for all of your years of providing us with wonderful music. We cannot thank you enough. And for remaining humble. It really was a wonderful chat. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for, all of this.
It was an honor. Thank you so much, ma'am. That was Dr. Alison Hinds-Walcott, Barbados Cultural Ambassador and the Soca Queen of the World. I am Lisa Lord. Thank you so much for joining us for part 2. Do have yourself a wonderful evening.